I would like to introduce Yvonne Kason. And I am absolutely thrilled, Yvonne, that you're going to spend a little bit of time with us today to talk about your launch of a new organization, a nonprofit organization called Spiritual Awakenings International. So please let us know about the launch that happened yesterday at this point, and what the mission is and how it is that you're unique. And I'm going to disappear and give you front stage.
Well, thank you, Emma. It is really my pleasure and my honor to speak to you today about the launch of Spiritual Awakenings International. This is the culmination, basically, of a vision that Spirit gave me a little bit over a year ago, that there was a need on the planet right now. I just felt it on my soul for a new nonprofit organization that would be bringing diverse groups and individuals together, that it was time for this on the planet, this bringing together. That is, in fact, our slogan for Spiritual Awakenings International, is bringing us together. And, you know, I'm a multiple NDE and STE experiencer. I've had 5 near-death experiences over the course of my life, 2 in my childhood, 3 in my adult life. And I've had all sorts of spiritual emergence and spiritually transformative experiences also throughout the course of my life. And all of this propelled me back in the early 90s to become the first Canadian medical doctor to specialize my medical practice in the counseling and research of people who've had diverse types of spiritually transformative experiences. So this has been my sort of mission and calling now for many, many, many years. And I've written books about it. My most recent book is called Touched by the Light. It's over my shoulder there. Just came out in the fall, where I talk about the different types of spiritually transformative experiences. But what I've noticed over these years, and particularly in the last few years, is that many groups that are out there are focusing only on one particular narrow aspect. So, for example, there are a few groups out there that are focusing only on near-death experiences, or there are a couple of other groups over there who are focusing only on Kundalini awakenings, and that yet there are other groups over there that are looking only at psychic phenomenon, and yet other groups that are looking only at mystical experiences. But in my clinical work and in my research, and also in my personal spiritual awakening process, I have found they're all connected. They're all happening to the same group of people. So it seems to me necessary that we need to look at all of these things together, just as the Grofs with spiritual emergence syndrome realized that all of these were connected. But it's a time now for bringing the groups together that are looking at different types of spiritually transformative experiences. So Spiritual Awakenings International, our mission is really to support experiencers who are having this diverse spectrum of spiritually transformative experiences. This is another key thing that makes Spiritual Awakenings International unique, is that we are led by experiencers. Myself and the Vice President, Robert Baer, we founded this organization together. We are both multiple STE, multiple NDE experiencers. We are experiencers. So we are walking the talk that we're talking about. And we know how important it is to provide a safe space for experiencers. Because unbelievably still at this day, it's way too frequent that experiencers are being told they're crazy, they're hallucinating, it's a sign of mental illness, and they don't feel safe even to talk to their families and friends. So we want to create a safe space for experiencers where they can A, meet each other, 2, network with each other, but thirdly, learn. So to learn new and accurate information about the diverse spectrum of STEs, and so it's a mutually beneficial experience. And the other thing is we really are striving to be international. and launching in the middle of the pandemic. I think this is sort of interesting synchronicity because we're all being forced online. We're being forced to communicate with Zoom because of the lockdown, et cetera, with the pandemic. But that's also an opportunity, because that now means that if I have somebody presenting, like I'm going to be presenting in July about discovering spiritually transformative experiences, my inner and outer journey, that can be watched by anyone around the world because it's on Zoom. You don't have to be in Toronto, where I live. You don't have to be in Eastern time zone. You don't have to be in North America. You could be anywhere in the world with internet access. So our vision is to be a network around the world that people all around the world can, who are experiencers, who are researchers, who are people interested in this area, can join together. The other thing that we're doing, which I think is unique and very beautiful, is that we are inviting these groups that have particular interest areas in their specific area to come together too. You know, that you don't have to be a group that's dealing with all of it, but let's bring these little specialized groups together too, so we can talk to each other, so we can learn a little bit from each other. And the last thing that we're hoping to do is to build on the networking between the various group leaders. You know, because sometimes these group leaders, because they've been functioning in a different area or in a different part of the world, they don't even know each other. They've never had an opportunity to meet each other. So we're hoping, as we develop more affiliated groups around the world, that to start having some affiliated group leaders meetings, so that these leaders can meet each other, learn from each other, support each other, network, and ultimately even have regional group leaders meetings, you know, European groups, North American groups, Asian groups. So we have a lot of dreams and visions for Spiritual Awakenings International, but really at the heart of it is our love for experiencers and our love for the planet, and a calling that both Robert and I felt as the co-founders, a calling by the higher power. We're both highly intuitive people. We felt very strongly called that now was the time to birth Spiritual Awakenings International.
Well, let me come back and say thank you so much. I learned just by listening to what you were saying more about your mission. And I think one thing that will be really valuable for the people who are listening to you for the first time and being introduced to you, well, there's so much, because your personal story is amazing. But Yvonne, just in terms of the group that you're doing, like, how do you picture people kind of coming in? If I know you have a newsletter that they can participate in, so they'd also be able to hear you speak and hear others speak. So there'd be online presentations. Would there be support groups that are happening in various areas or in particular themes? And would that happen on Google? Or what's your picture? And what's your picture of total success for the people who decide to become members?
Aha. Well, we have subscribers rather than members, but and what people are subscribing to is basically our mailing list, because something that we're creating that I think is very unique and innovative too is a calendar of events in terms of global events relating to spiritually transformative experiences. So what we're planning is once a month, we are going to send out a newsletter, but the newsletter, which is sent by email, is going to be a calendar of events. And it's going to say, oh, okay, SAI, we're having Yvonne Kason speaking on July the 18th. But, you know, Emma Bragdon's group, Integrative Mental Health for You, is doing an event on the 22nd, and so is speaking, and this is the link if you want to find more. And, ooh, this group in Liechtenstein, because we do have somebody in Liechtenstein, he's doing an online event on the 30th, and here's the link if you want to find out more. And the group in Australia, they're doing an event on such and such a date, and here's the link to do it. So we plan to have this calendar of events for STE-related presentations that one can sign up for all of our affiliated groups around the world, so that people will be on our mailing list for that. And I think that's awesome, you know, that it's time that sort of thing happened.
Right.
And,
So
and
I think that's a fabulous idea. And I'm thinking, what a feat of coordination to do
mhm.
this. Sounds fantastic. I know one of your strengths is being a networker. So, so people can get this information and translate it into their calendar, whatever is of interest to them. Is there going to be a fee to be a subscriber?
At this point now, no, we're doing it all promotional in 2020 because we want to welcome people so they can discover Spiritual Awakenings International. They can see if it's a fit for them, if they want to be a member. In 2021, we're going to have to probably ask for some donations to continue to be a subscriber because, you know, there are costs in maintaining these sorts of things. But I just want to say too that in addition to sending out the newsletter calendar, we are planning to have once a month at the present time a featured speaker event, and we've already got incredible speakers lined up for about the next year. At this point, we're going to keep it at once a month. We do plan, once the pandemic is over, please, hopefully it'll be over soon, in 2021, we want to start having conferences, and our vision would be that they're international conferences. So we're thinking of that one year, our first year, 2021, we're planning to do it in the US. In 2022, our plan is to do it in Australia. And then the year after, 2023, we're going to come to North America again, maybe Canada, maybe the US. Then the year after that, 2024, we're planning to go to Europe. And so we're planning to do this. We're going to ping pong. And then maybe 6 years out, the next international one will be in South America. So we want to really reach out across the world with these conferences and not only having conferences in North America. I mentioned to you that we're going to have the group leaders meetings and the regional group leaders meetings on Zoom. There may also be regional meetings, that if this takes off, people might decide, hey, the conference is in England this year. I can't afford to go there. So why don't we do a smaller thing in Florida? Fine. So do a smaller thing in Florida. So these are sort of the foundations that we're looking at as the beginning building blocks. Our real base is the website. I'm very, very proud of our new website. We've got a lot of information on there. We plan to put links to excellent videos, YouTube presentations, all the presentations of all of our speakers on our website so that it's going to become a bigger and bigger resource for people, if you're up at 2, 3 in the morning, as a lot of experiencers are, that, hey, what if they got new on the website? And you can see some talks that are inspirational related to spiritually transformative experiences. And the other thing that I just want to share this, that we're really striving to be multi-faith and multicultural. And right now in our society, there's a big uproar about historical prejudices and getting rid of prejudices in our society. And I see this as part of a deep healing that needs to happen on the planet. And that I think really the strongest force for that healing is to develop spiritually and to develop our love one for the other as spiritual brothers and sisters, no matter what our particular religion, no matter what our particular skin color in this particular incarnation. And so that's also, I would say, the bedrock of Spiritual Awakenings International. Although we're not aligned with any one particular faith tradition, we are spiritually based. We know that we are spirits, we are children of that one higher power, however we understand it, and that we're incarnated here to learn our soul lessons and grow. And we're going to be striving to do that in a very loving, all-inclusive way.
Thank you. That's just so lovely to hear you speak about it, Yvonne. And again, I learn every time you're talking about it, I learn more about it. But I wanted to share a picture I got as you were describing this. And that is really people coming together from different places. As you were talking about the Kundalini Research Institute, or people who are really oriented towards Kundalini, people who are really oriented towards the paranormal. But I think at the bottom, there is a tremendous amount of alignment. And the picture I got was people carrying something together. And thus the passageway into maybe a culture that is more enlightened because there's higher consciousness for everyone, that's being carried by many people and can thus strengthen the whole movement. So I just love what you have to say, and I love what you're doing, and I just want to thank you for showing up to describe more to us what this is about. And people who are interested in your contact information can look in the newsletter below, or if you're connecting with this particular video on Vimeo, we'll also have the information for contacting Yvonne and spiritualawakeningsinternational.com.
.org.
Spiritualawakeningsinternational.org.
And I just want to mention too, we are registered as a not-for-profit organization in the United States.
Wonderful. Okay, well, there's much more that we can talk about, but that's it for now within this series of inspiring short talks. And I just want to thank you formally for showing up today and sharing more with us, Yvonne. Thank you, and blessings to you as you proceed into your success.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you for having me.